Hi, hello, We Talk Horror here. If that's something you enjoy, please consider liking and subscribing. As always, this is a spoiler-free review. Let's get into it. I want to address the obvious first, which is that Humane is directed by Caitlin Cronenberg, daughter of David Cronenberg and sister of Brandon Cronenberg. I was worried this film was going to feel a little too similar to their work, but I am happy to report that those worries were settled very quickly. If I were to do like an elevator pitch for this movie, I would say that it's like The Purge, but good. You might hear that and think, wait, isn't that just The Purge anarchy? And that's completely fair, but after the first film, I feel like The Purge became way more of an action franchise. The first film is a home invasion thriller with a near-dystopian background, and Humane is pretty similar to that. In this film, the threat isn't rampant crime, though. It's overpopulation. About 20% of the world's population needs to be euthanized due to this crisis, and the American government has a program in place for people who want to volunteer. Most of the characters in this movie aren't very worried about that, though, since they are all from a very wealthy family. That all shifts when the patriarch of the family, played excellently by Peter Gallagher, calls for a family dinner to tell his children that he has enlisted in the government's euthanasia program. After that, all hell breaks loose as the family tries to come to terms with their new reality. I don't want to give away too much of the plot because I think it goes in some really fun directions that I wasn't expecting. You're probably gonna hear a lot of people talk about how political this movie is, and that's definitely a big part of the movie, but I also think it has a lot to say about family. It's tough to explain without spoiling it, but it's like all of the four siblings symbolizes different ways your life can be impacted by immense privilege. The four of them actually coming to grips with this is the emotional arc of the movie. The struggling actress can be a struggling actress because of her father's money. The oldest son can be a cable news personality because his father was a famous anchorman. And the other two also have stuff going on that I do not want to give away. I don't think this is a movie where you're going to like a lot of the characters, but that's completely fine since the movie leans heavily into the dark humor of the situation. And on that note, I want to give a shout out to Jay Baruchel, who plays the least likable character of the bunch, but he also gets the most laughs. His mannerisms as he tries to navigate through the very awkward and sometimes hostile family dinner are hilarious. I think the whole cast is really good, but him and Peter Gallagher were definitely standouts to me. Their characters seemed to disagree the most with each other, which led to some really fun back and forths between the two of them. They have some political arguments that get heated in the way you expect them to at a family dinner. And speaking of the politics of the movie, I think there's going to be some viewers that are disappointed with the fact that they don't do more with the interesting world it creates. And once again, this reminded me of the original Purge film. Unlike that one, however, the characters here are actually way more interesting than what's going on around them, so that's what made this film really work for me. That of course doesn't mean I love everything about the film, though. I do think you can feel that this comes from a first-time feature director. There were times where I felt like the movie assumed I knew a piece of information way before it was actually conveyed to me. I thought a lot about this after watching the film because I thought there was maybe something strange going on with the editing, but after digesting it, I think it all comes down to the directing. It never gets to the point where it's like hard to follow, but there were definitely some key plot elements or plot points that were unnecessarily confusing on first watch. Ultimately though, the few negative points I have about the film don't take away from the overall experience. There were so many fun surprises in this film that I haven't told you about because I think you should experience them for yourself. There is a great mixture of dark comedy, violence, and genuinely touching scenes. There was one violent scene that made me quite sad, and then right after it, something graphic happened that made me laugh a lot. It is a movie that takes you for a ride in the best way possible. It definitely feels unpolished at times, and in that way, I think Caitlin Cronenberg will probably make better films in the future as she has more experience. Personally though, I think that's super exciting exciting because she's already made a banger, in my opinion. I think some people are going to be turned off by the unlikable characters here, and you can definitely find stuff to nitpick, but there is so much fun to be had with this movie. Thanks so much for checking out this review. Please leave a like, comment if you've seen the film. You can definitely wait for it to hit Shudder if you have that service, because then it's going to be, you know, a part of that subscription. But yeah, I definitely think you should check this out. And yeah, I'll be back with more videos soon. I have longer videos that I'm working on here in the background. I've just had a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to move soon. I got a new apartment, so in a couple of months I'll be moving. There's been a lot of stuff happening with that. Just a lot of life stuff going on, but I'm going to try to make some longer videos as soon as possible. Yeah, so yeah, I'll talk to you guys next time, okay? Bye.